Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavide Uskava, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton. Slancha!
Slancha. How we doing, everybody? And good day, whiskey brothers, whiskey sisters, and whiskey friends, and welcome to episode 81 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. I'm Dolph. I'm the creator of the Canadian Whisky Journey, the Spirit of Edmonton, right up there, Spirit of Edmonton, and on all social media platforms. Most importantly, I'm your host today. It's usually at night, but I'm doing it today in my backyard. Beautiful place to be. It's 30-some degrees. Outside's a good place, isn't it? So, and if you haven't been here for a while, or if this is your very first time, welcome. And you should know that if I'm reviewing a whiskey, just like the one I'm doing today, it's because there's something special about it, something I like about the whiskey. Sometimes it's everything. Sometimes it's a combination of stuff, like the nose and palate, and the palate and mouthfeel, or nose and mouthfeel and finish. It's anything. But that's where we are today. And this is the whiskey we are reviewing today. Actually, I'm going to show this a couple times because I just want to get a good view of it. And the sun's hopefully not shining too much weirdly on it. So we're continuing our journey today with this one. So this is Campfire Canadian Whiskey. And I just came back from Red Deer. So I was on a day trip with my buddy Nick. He's the vice president of the Alberta Scotch Society. So we went to Diony Distillery. We talked to Stefan for a couple hours, and we talked about life. We talked about his whiskeys, barreling program, future whiskey, buying barrels, and the state of craft distilling here in Alberta. And that's kind of important. We're going to get back to that later. And later meaning if you're at my whiskey masterclass at the Banff Whiskey Experience on November 30th, you'll hear about it then. And later on this summer, we're going to have Stefan on here, and we're going to talk a bit about the state and his perceptions of Alberta whiskey. That's what we're going to talk about. But for now, we're here to review one of his best sellers, Campfire Canadian Whiskey. Right there. This is edition number 2. Now I'm going to do it 2 different ways, and I'm reaching for my paper because it's got a slight breeze moving them around outside. So one of the things I have to do outside that I don't have to care about inside. So we're doing this with a pretty generous pour actually this afternoon, and we're doing it as a highball. So club soda with probably 2 ounces of the whiskey again, and ice. And this is my favorite way to do whiskey in the summer, really. Now, I did my tasting notes for this last night. So I'm going to go over my tasting notes with this, and then I'm going to talk about how it might be a little bit different with the highball. So let's just get started with some information, what we do know about this specific whiskey. So, one, it won the International Whiskey Competition Gold in 2023 for Best Canadian Whiskey. It also won the SIP Awards Gold 2023. So that's kind of the background. You're going to get that online when you look there. And beyond that, it's got a mash bill. So mash bill, not like some of the bigger companies here in Canada. So they're following their friends in the States. 65% rye for this one, 25% malted rye, by the way, 25% malted barley, and 10% oats. And the oats are fantastic, and I'm pretty sure it helps with the mouthfeel. I think that's it. It's just over 3.5 years old. It's a blend of 2 barrels. So the first barrel is a Richard number 2 French oak barrel, and the second one is a number 3 Richard French oak barrel. And what makes this unique and what gives you the campfire part to it is it was smoked with spent grain and oak for 6 hours. Okay, and you should go to the distillery and ask them about this and see how you get the smoke and the process he goes through it. And then this is further married for 2 months in what type of barrel? In a rum barrel. That's it. So it's married for 2 months in a rum barrel. Again, just over 3.5 years old. It comes out at 46.8%, non-chill filtered, no color added, just the way I like it. So let's get into the whiskey, shall we? So let's do it. This, my friends, yeah, still the same thing. I got into this quite a bit last night, and you can tell, actually. Look at that. And a little bit for my wife, a little bit for my son. We did the tasting notes together. A nice family activity. But caramel's what I get, because I always go for the sweet first. So caramel's what I had. The nutmeg and cinnamon and almond. Now we were trying to figure out which nut it was. I was hitting more walnut than almond, but my son and wife went more for the almond. I'm going to trust their taste buds. We're going to say almond. It's nice on the nose. Now on the palate, again, the mouthfeel. It's lovely. And when I brew beer, the oats really help with the mouthfeel. I'm thinking it's the oats that are helping with the mouthfeel for this. It's lovely. And not on the nose, but on the palate, you get the hit of smoke that you're looking for when it says Campfire whiskey. And so, and the smoke's not dominating. It's there. It's apparent, but it's not dominating everything. Cinnamon hearts, kind of sugar to it. So, not sugar, the little cinnamon hearts candies that you get at Valentine's Day. So I'm getting that as the spice. And yeah, back to the nut. I said walnuts, but I'm okay saying almonds. Yeah, I'm just struck. The mouth feels fantastic. The finish, it's a medium finish. And it goes from lightly, sweet and lightly spicy to a little bit more heat after that. So kind of, it builds in the heat. And the heat's really in two places too. Like I said, medium finish, you get the sweet right away, but right where you're tasting the sweetness initially up the front turns to heat there, but then a little bit of heat, not further back, not in the back of the throat, but just further up, kind of middle tongue, you get a little bit more spice there as well. So it's a good finish. It's a medium finish. I like a long finish, but I'm not going to get that from a 3.5-year-old. Not quite yet. All right. Now, let's go to the highball. And that looked refreshing. So all this is like I said, whiskey, club soda, which means no sugar. So no sugar at all. It's just carbonation. So club soda and as much ice as you want to put in it. So this will dilute it down quite a bit, but it does make it refreshing. It's fantastic. Okay, so on the nose, nothing. You're going to get nothing. Even with this tulip-shaped glass, you're going to get nothing on the nose when it's cold. Well, it's ice cold like it is. So your first impressions come with the palate. And the palate on this is the smoke. Smoke comes out more with the cold than it does when it's in the Glencairn. So smoke is the first impression you get, then sweet, which is different for me because I usually taste the sweet first and then I go for the other flavors that kind of complement it. But right here in this one, the smoke comes first, then the sweetness. And the nuttiness pretty well dissipates. It ends up tasting a little bit like a wheat whiskey. Some of the wheat whiskeys or bourbons you get from the States, it's very mellow at this point. So you get the smoke, sweetness, and mellowness. And the rye spice is a bit there, but that disappears for the most part as well. I don't get the rye spice heat that I love. And because of this, it's all cold. But yeah, so essentially what you're getting is a smoky, sweet, light drink, which I think would be perfect if you have friends getting into whiskey or you're thinking about getting them into certain whiskeys that have a little bit more flavor, that are a little bit more complex than the traditional $30, $40, $50 whiskeys. You want to get them into something like this. Some people would say that'd be a waste. Not me. I think the flavor's there, you're enjoying it, and for 2 ounces you get something that's gigantic that they're going to sip for probably an hour and a bit, especially with the gigantic ice cubes. Information on this whiskey. So I'll show it to you again. So that's edition 2, and I'll keep it up there as I read it. 750 ml bottle. Bought at the Distillery and any other fine whiskey store, about $120. Or you could go to their website to buy as well and take a look at all the effort they put into the website. They do food pairings on the website. They talk about, well, it's beautifully done. Whoever actually worked on that. I didn't talk to Stefan about that, but it's worth your time to go to that website, especially with the food pairings. And I asked my son, who likes to cook, what would you pair? And he got a couple of them, like almost immediately what they did. So it was kind of cool. And that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll come back to you again maybe this week, maybe next week, maybe I two this week and 3 next week. Who knows? It's just, I'm in my yard. I want to enjoy it. I want to sit out here with the birds and the barbecue, the smoker over there. This is the happy place. So it's not going to be 7 o'clock at night for a little while until the end of summer. I know you're used to it, but this is where I got to be right now. Thank you all very much. Have a fantastic afternoon and enjoy some whiskey, people. Enjoy. Ciao, everybody. Oh, show my little Diony mug. There you go. Cheers.